Port projects. Abiodun commissions joint security intervention squad and herdsmen farmers. Ogun State government million naira technique TED fund. My name is Mojisola and the producer is Dele. Plans are signed by Ogun State government for effective and the state government innovation of deep. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, while delivering the keynote address at the two-day interactive National Boundary Commission of the states and the zones, the governor is determined for the oil island.
Only depend on integrated coexistence, but find political boundaries separating partial autonomy within a single country. The two-day meeting ensure that the peace occasioned by well-defined boundary in the southwest of Nigeria is sustained. Ogun State Prince Dr. Abiodun, in his keynote address, said the peaceful resolution of boundary disputes has a on socio-economic.
The advantage Lagos-Ogun joint. This commission, when it becomes operational, will optimize the share of two states, that is Ogun and Lagos, with the aim of flow and diversity of development to Ogun State. This is because Lagos State is spilling greatly into Ogun State, and we are determined to turn this push from Lagos into a pull for Ogun State using public-private sector participation.
He called on the federal government to support the development of Tongeji in the Opokia local government area.
Ogun, the nation's gateway to the sub-region, faces a challenge with Benin Republic on the oil-rich Tongeji Island, which though located close to Porto Novo in Benin, is actually situated in the Opokia local government of Ogun State in Nigeria. This is meaningful for the citizens of the state living within the island to ensure that the Republic of Benin that shares boundary with the state does not take advantage of that proximity of likely deposit of petroleum reserves on the island, and we hereby call on the federal government to join hands with us in giving the residents of this island by providing access roads and a bridge for them among their other needs.
The two-day event of activities of boundary management.
The Senate Committee on Aviation were in Ogun State to make aviation functional in the state. The committee, led by Adeyemi, visited the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo's office. The governor made a strong case for the federal government the completion and operation of the in Elisha for its economic advantage. Cargo Airport.
The Senate Committee on Aviation State function was the office of the governor of Ogun State, Mr. Abiodun. The chairman of the committee state has a good past and a promising future.
Construction here, I said is for to have a discussion on ground. I've had discussion with the Minister of Aviation on several occasions on this issue of two airports under construction in Ogun State. I recall the Director General of Nigeria Civil Aviation, Captain Musa, raised this issue with me and the permanent secretary, and I said to them, I have not been to talking about. So I'm coming here for us to see how we can look at these two airports and help the aviation minister on one hand, and that because it will guide us. The legislation and budgeting for aviation.
The governor of the state made a strong case for the cargo airport in Ileshan.
Our decisions here are the principles of good governance. That is, we ask ourselves, in decision making, we ask ourselves, is it a fair decision? Or is the process transparent? Is it inclusive? How people in the, is it of economic importance? Value? Really impact the life of our people. This administration is they need to have a cargo airport by a joint interministerial committee, and we consequently evaluated the initiative that was started by previous administrations because government is a continuum. The airport cargo location illusion was in because it complements the agric processing factories ecosystem in that corridor with that we do not very high work airports very opportunities that this metropolis presents.
He noted that it makes developmental, economic, and transportation sense to get the agro-cargo.
This airport's location, the express route, no. Lagos about the expressway you came on or from, and a kilometer away from this airport, less than 1 kilometer away from this airport. Shagamu Benin Express, less than a kilometer away from this airport. You will see that this evening. So we are not investing in any new. Those are probably the two busiest routes in this country. He spoke about the gas pipeline. The gas pipeline is actually parallel to Shagamu Benin Expressway, kilometer away. So that guarantees us that place that will guarantee electricity. This is part of our electricity supply master plan in the state.
And Chief Economic Advisor Dr. Kubadejo made a presentation to validate. Other senators in the committee also lent their voice. The Aerocargo Airport in Ileshan is the first and the only Aerocargo airport in the.
Another round of rehabilitation of primary health centers will commence with the hope that by May 2023, about 300 centers will have been renovated and equipped. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abiodun, disclosed this at a meeting chairman of the areas of Ogun State. The governor said to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in the state.
Local government administration is geared towards nearer to the people at the most basic level. The importance of bringing government nearer to the people cannot be overemphasized. This translates to bringing service of great importance to the welfare and livelihood of the community. Such services have been delivered in areas of Ogun State, which has a high positive implication on the standard of living of the people at the primary level. This is the meeting of transition with the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abiodun.
Local government is very from all schools, hospitals,
there is a difference because we, about 3 or 4 of us, have served in other situations before you, and we've seen the difference.
The chairman counted several projects in their council areas. Government is now functioning in Ogun State.
In Ogun East, for example, let's look at from Waterside. That was put on the ground in that local government in the last 8 years.
You make people realize that local can work
have been in the past. Repeatedly during the campaign that you want to cheer up, we have demonstrated that, sir.
They said we are not making noise. But I have a comment. We don't. We only need to make impact. We will make impactful, aggressive noise.
The governor attributed the successes so far recorded to the support of the people and the inclusive demeanor of his administration.
You will see that at the interchange, there's something going on at the interchange. There's a park coming out there. It's like a welcome center. We're calling it the Gateway City Gate. This is the first time I mention it officially. Again, you are the advocates of local governments. So from that point, when you get there, on your way east, I'm sure you come back. By the end of the day, I don't have data, I would have done probably almost about 100 or thereabouts affordable housing units in the state. And these are.
Since the prompt intervention of the current administration to the farmers' herdsmen crisis, relative peace to the area, unveiling the further line of action.
Our Motekun will soon be launched. And because of the peculiar problem that we found ourselves in Yewa, we are launching the Yewa Motekun first. That we are tackling this problem frontally. I've also told them to, just this week, being on the Papaland to Ilaro Road, which has some failure, begin in that area in the next.
Prince Okabiodun said the state is ready to receive and administer the COVID-19 vaccine in the state, noting that the evolution is ongoing in the state.
Receive the vaccines and actually commence vaccination. The entire cold chain that is required have been identified. In each of your wards, we have a that is in good working to receive the vaccines. Ward in the state. We actually have more regulators than the number of wards that we have. So we have those that are there right now.
The administration, according to the governor, is on a mission to rebrand. Is being done in infrastructure, housing, education, as well as social intervention in the 20 local government areas.
In the first security, there is need for flexibility in disaster and crisis management, reducing crime rates in the society. During the night Security and Civil Defense Corps held at Yola Stadium.
The Nigeria Security Corps NSCDC marked its 90th year of existence with the aim at ensuring the protection and safeguarding. The Ogun State Commandant NSCDC, Ahmed Abodunrin, emphasized on the benefits of the Corps to demonstrate its core value.
Permit me to inform you, in Ogun State, in the last one, the command settled close to 400 cases of farmer-other conflicts, which didn't result into any problem. Recently, when the spillover from another state, Ogun State, that since then, and with the prompt action of Your Excellency, to ensure that the situation is now under control.
Mission, the state Abiodun, who was representing on security, Olushola, reiterated the state support towards reducing crime.
It is also worthy of mention that the Ogun State played the with the synergy with other agencies, I am placing a lasting peace in the state.
He also enjoined officers and men in safeguarding government's critical infrastructure and national.
What should be of utmost priority with which criminals this should take us back strategies so as to up our game and be able to.
The Nigeria Security or NSCD, a military agency, monitor, take every necessary step to foster terrorism, pipelines from vandalism, and also involves in crisis management.
Collaboration between the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, and the government of Ogun State will help in adequate health care. The government, Minister for Abiodun, made the submission when he hosted the Board of Hospital Federal Medical Center at his office.
Capital of Nigeria, the laboratory in Nigeria, the only nerve center of the nation, hence the need for provision of social amenities, especially provision of healthcare facilities. The administration in the healthcare delivery has not gone unnoticed, with the Board of the Federal Medical Center commending the governor.
We would also like to thank you and appreciate you and commend you on the development projects, especially on health-related issues that you are on or you have introduced, especially between the state and the Federal Medical Center Abeokuta.
The governor called for deeper collaboration between federal current administration in Ogun State.
There have been lots of people living here, and we must ensure that we cater to them. So, partnership, we embrace it and we see. I will expect that our role should be that which is complementary as against that which is competitive. But of course, it is healthy competition.
He also promised to make some amenities and logistics such as road network, water supply, and power supply available to of the medical center.
The administration in the contracts, road contracts, to contractors that destroyed the water reticulation, pipeline reticulation across the state, without having a clause in their contract that ensures that they relay the pipes, but without making any provision for such. So today, water supply in Abeokuta and many, we're just reviewing that and we're working that out now. The contracts that this administration has awarded now have clauses like that embedded in it. If you part being infrastructure and another part damaging another infrastructure. So we ensure that if you awarded a contract to the road or any existing infrastructure there, you must restore it back to how you met it.
Federal Medical Center Abeokuta is a notable federal hospital located in Ogun State to provide quality.
State Abiodun has launched the Joint Security in a bid to bring an end to the state. We noted that the school of the Amotekun, which is also warned against the which is national security.
I have the honor and privilege to commission these vehicles and motorcycles to the glory of God and to the joint security force state areas others crisis.
The commissioning of the Joint Security Intervention Squad was part of the meeting organized by the state government on the farmers' herdsmen crisis.
I must emphasize that this particular task is for those areas that are currently affected by this. The task force operations across of the state, particularly in areas where you have.
The squad comprises the military, police, Nigerian Corps, among others.
This incident is going to take an ethnic coloration. A crime, regardless of who commits it. We should not ascribe a crime ethnic group. What we noticed is that the cellular phone network is very scanty. By the time you leave Papalanto, as you begin to head to Ilaro, you begin to see that, talk on your phone. By the time you get to Egua and K2, you're Republic. Our may even have their first calls under siege. But this administration, upon ourselves, resolve that. We've spoken and met with the telcos. We will soon be deploying masts to that area to give that area the required telephone coverage that is needed.
Now observed that the trend of fake news is becoming worrisome and not good for.
People have this preoccupation sharing news that they consider sensational without authenticating, the genuineness of this news. That people it. We are working with to ensure that we have a law in place that very serious punitive propagating fake news because they are threatening the peace.
The provision of the security equipment is just the first batch of many to come.
We've been inundated with our citizens have become refugees in a neighboring country. Fake news specifies 1,000 indigenous in Benin Republic. 5,000 Ogun State indigenes enter another country, and you won't have a diplomatic issue between and Nigeria. Ogun State indigenes another country, Laru, or come to Abeokuta.
The commissioner of the people of the state of their safety.
You that will put these vehicles to optimal use, and that to remind our people if they were, the government was not having to ensure that they continue to live together peacefully, at least with they can rest.
Other resolutions at the state already include the setting up of peacekeeping committee as well as distribution of palliative to victims of the conflict.
Security State are set to work together to achieve the set goal of putting an end to security crisis facing the state, especially this. Commissioner of Police, Ogun State Command, the head of security confirmed this while briefing officers working with the newly set up joint security in Yewa.
The situation has
CP Edward and the joint security intervention by aides of other security outfits in the state, CP Ajogun, charged the officers as a team in order to achieve the set goal of Governor Dapo. It will be following the recent security crisis. There was a security parley between Governor Dapo Abiodun and security chiefs in the state, which necessitated the handing over of patrol vehicles and motorcycles, surveillance and patrol of the crisis-prone areas.
Here to joint security to make sure to ward off any attempt by either to perpetrate crime in this in any part of this Yewa land, and so enjoying all this particular mission as a common one and the objectives that we intend to achieve.
Going by the commercial activities and outside the area, he enjoined the officers not to get carried away, but to be alive to the purpose of their posting to that area.
So this is a high risk an assignment. Let me not describe the risk. So, but to further mitigate that particular risk, I want that. So please don't be distracted. Don't be all here for smugglers, but we are here to target those people who are causing problem between communities here, banditries and banditry, and anything that is going to bring problem between the herders and the farmers. That is what we are here primarily of crime and criminality.
Security Intervention Squad comprises the Nigerian Army, the so say.
Insecurity and lack of adequate social amenities keep and herdsmen farmers clashes axis of Ogun State. During the visit of Ogun State and herdsmen and farmers conflict for Okeagbede, all in government areas.
Conference Center in Imeko was the first port of call by the Ogun State Peacekeeping Committee on conflicts set up by the Ogun State government to find lasting solutions to the clashes and forge ahead a way of ensuring peaceful with one another. Onimeko of Imekwafon, Oba Benjamin by presenting photo evidences to the committee chairman, the state government mission. Farmers and community leaders experiences with the herdsmen. The entourage later moved to the ancient Ori, where innocent young lady Elizabeth Pascal was brutally murdered. The final port of call was Iwoyeke. Different tribes, namely Yoruba, Ori, from Benin Republic, have been quite before.
8 years ago, facing Fulani to the extent that farmers are no longer on the farm because the Fulani have taken over their farmland. Indeed, many will their life.
One of the victims of the herdsmen, Mrs. Azei Morufat, a 35-year-old Benin Republic married to a Nigerian, shared a contributed attack.
I have noticed that yesterday the governor launched the special North and Emekwafo, basically for the troubled areas in this and he assured me personally yesterday in the next 3 weeks Amotekun will be launched in Ogun State and assistance.
Honorable promised that the committee will come up with lasting solutions to the conflicts.
We sincerely apologize for all of that report. Moving on, the Peacekeeping Committee on the herdsmen conflict in Ogun State has reports that it had ordered farmers in Yoruba land farm. The committee on that Yoruba land are seeking refuge in Benin Republic, saying it is untrue. The chairman of the committee, Oladili, gave this clarity. Abiyokuta, committees and recommend a model for conflict not only in the state but
Spots on the Farmers Herdsmen and Peacekeeping Committee met to begin and lasting solutions. The chairman of the committee on Dele said the committee wants to cultivate long-term peace.
South Village, during one of our visits to the affected areas, and center in Yewa North local government, the acting of the town, after taking us through the wreckage, there were fears. No reasonable person haven't heard about an imminent attack and haven't the carnage that happened there will advise anybody to go alone to the farm. We told them we didn't have any authority to prohibit or order anybody not to go to the farm. But in the circumstances yourselves, we would advise that you hold on until everything is okay. And if they must go out to the farms, then they have to go in groups. That advice was meant for Asa Village, not for Yewa.
The committee also cleared the air on some issues wrongly reported.
If you read some newspapers over the said that I will tell you again that I would have truth. So when this problem and conflict started, of course, the national to their home country. So many of the people that you are seeing, regions of Yewa, they are the other side of Nigeria, of the border had moved.
The meeting entered a closed-door session, after which the media assuring that a thorough job will be done.
I can assure you that the state is committed to ensuring peace and as well as state
and to our people at home both farmers and friendly Fulanis and the rest of them. The committee is working assiduously that within we are going to come out with a resolution and
working perfectly in conjunction with all stakeholders. We get results and will reduce drastically, and such occurrence will not happen again.
The Peace Committee was inaugurated by the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakwabio, 20th of February 2021.
Unity, tranquility, and harmony in a peaceful society, hence cohabits peacefully. The Keeping Committee herdsmen conflict to affected people of farmers herdsmen crisis in Yuma North local government area.
State Governor Prince Dakwabio is expected to unravel activities that often led to the farmers' herdsmen crisis in the state. The committee led by its chairman was in Egua and Asa in area of palliatives to cushion the effect of the farmers' herdsmen crisis on the affected people in the area.
The community pressing appreciation of this great, very and concerned step which our governor has taken, palliative measure.
I noted that Ogun Western Interior District areas, adding that everything possible will be done to ensure that the unity and harmony are restored to coexistence in the country.
Section 14 of the Constitution of the only security and welfare of the people shall be the primary responsibility of government. This is why it was set up. This is why the governor is to ensure security. We want to ensure that we also have for the people that are affected.
Subcommittee Chairman on Palliative and Commissioner Mr. Ola, the distribution of the palliatives showed that it is not leaving any stone unturned in terms of the welfare of its people. After his visit to Asa community, the Oladele addressed journalists on towards putting a check to the incessant clashes between the farmers.
Everybody is, particularly when you consider this is attack. We are a committee. We don't want to committee's report. We have an on-the-spot assessment of what has really happened, and from what we've seen so far today, a lot are destroyed. We've seen destruction of properties, cars, motorbikes, and so many things. And people to us about even their inability to go to their farms. They have also increased a lot the proportion of famine and hunger. And I believe that we're
to be looked into as well as find
Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwabio has called for more investment support for the Nigeria Society towards deploying advanced technology in the fight against banditry. Abiodun called the engineering sector at the 2021 World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development with the theme Engineering for a Healthy Planet, held at Obasanjo Abeokuta. Representing the state government, Mr. The governor expressed worries and success of much to improve on the actions of Ayodele Awojobi, which could have aided the fight against banditry, insurgency, and other myriads of security challenges confronting the nation.
Ideals of the Nigerian Society of Engineers as a professional body. I have always been an in the abilities of the Nigerian professionals. I also hold the given the motivation and the material resources Nigerian professionals can prove their mental and match very best.
He noted that his administration remains committed to see more professionals as major stakeholders in the continued and implementation of together. Earlier in his welcome address, the chairman of Abeokuta branch, Engineer Kolawole, said the second celebration of the World Engineering Day is to reawaken of the engineers. He called on science as a course of study in order to have many engineers move the society forward. In his opening remarks, the State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Engineer, represented by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Works and Engineer, said engineers have contributed their quota and promised not to relent in taking the society to the next level. Deputy Governors of Oyo, Ogun, Osun, and Ekiti met under the National Boundary Commission to strategize and find a better and peaceful way of resolving in the geopolitical. The agreement were reached at the commencement of a two-day interactive session in
Governors of the Southwest states.
Interactive session organized by the National with States Boundary Committee chaired by the Deputy Governors. Seated in this hall are Deputy Oyo, Ekiti, Lagos Deputy Governors being represented. Ogun State shares boundary with most of these. Evident that staging the session in Ogun State is not a misplaced priority. Emeritus Asiwaju is the chairman of the first. He enjoined all to make good use inherent in the gathering.
We are here to listen to the national, listen to as the approach to the issue of
Savio Adamu Adaji, the Director of the National Boundary Commission, who took the first plenary session, spoke on managing boundary disputes. Samuel Taiwo, who is the Surveyor General of the Federation, talked on evolution of interstate boundaries in the and the role of ethnography in the management of interstate boundaries was taken by Dr. Richard Oji, National Boundary Commission, chairman of boundary committees, making presentations of their.
This is the summary of what we have done in the last 20 months, and I want to thank the for his support of the state, which I reached out to him, very support. Also engagement with them, and for them to meet up as arbitrary disputes that we have in the
It was in the meeting that the ethnographic activities was fixed for 8 to 30th March 2021. It is our hope that the exercise will be peaceful and conclusive. These are issues we deal with. Serious relationship and talkless of when political issues are involved, economic interest, ties. So we just have to continue to manage the situation.
The two-day interactive session will come to an end on Friday, where resolutions will be reached, signing of reports and issuance of certificates of
Ogun State House of Assembly Deputy Olu its removal, submission of the other committee, majority leader Yusuf, to look into the allegation of leveled against him.
Report of the ad hoc committee last Tuesday, the Ogun State House of Assembly has removed Deputy Speaker from office, having found him gross misconduct. The committee's report was read by the chairman of the committee, Honorable Sheriff Yusuf, who also moved the motion for the adoption of the report, which was seconded by Honorable Abayomi Fashua. Also tendered 10 members of the 26 members of the House. Report of the ad hoc committee report, which found him guilty of acts of gross misconduct and endorsed his removal, was equally read before the lawmakers by the clerk, Mr. Adedeji Adeyemo. On the lawyer, Oluwadamilare, failed to exploit all internal mechanisms sought a lawyer. To this end, the committee considered that as the vice chairman of Fund Management Committee, he has direct access to all the information, and as the vice chairman of the principal body, he never reported chairman of the House. His held never raised the issue for discussion. Petitions submitted by Adebi Odugbeson and Co. Listening to both parties, the committee here nor there was of the Honorable Kadiri as an honorable member and deputy speaker of the exhibited. However, the matter is still pending and awaiting further investigation. The committee will not make any pronouncement on the report endorsed by 19 lawmakers out of 26 unanimous confirmation. Support of the recommendation of the ad hoc committee's report. The Speaker, however, clarified the voting pattern in the contest.
In line with the rule of the House, that if the motion is supported by the members, the officer is the person removed. Based on Honorable Oluwadamilare Kadiri is removed as the Deputy State House of Assembly.
Another development, the state governor, Prince Dakwa, forwarded to the State House of Assembly nomination of an additional member, Mrs. Remilekun O. for the State Independent Electoral Commission. Speaker read the governor's letter dated 2nd 21. Thereafter, directed the nominee to appear before the Assembly for screening on Friday, 5th of March 2021, with 30 copies of a curriculum vitae A at the Assembly 12 noon.
Benga Olajide, a police officer accused to be properly informed by the police. The chairman, Judicial Party, retired Justice then while attending to by Olatunjoye, officer of on one side of the neck with a knife.
were represented in 2008. One Sergeant Benga Olajide for brutality on 2nd 2017. The respondents claimed to have stabbed the petitioner in and are for it.
Question ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì tí gbòòrò ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀yin méjèèjì ẹ̀ ní ọjọ́ yẹn ìgbà tí lẹ fún mi mẹ́sìn lẹ́sìn ọ̀bẹ yẹn fún mi ní ọ̀run.
Behind, tap, not slap, my lord. Tap.
Going by the panels, it was revealed that no proper investigation was carried out by the force for the prosecuted, demoted. Therefore, ordered immediate retrial in the orderly room and appropriate prosecution initiated.
In view of the fact that Sergeant Olajide Gbenga had to be brought all the way from justice if allowed to go away without immediate and trial, the said respondent, Sergeant Olajide Gbenga, 385491, is hereby handed over to the Commissioner of Police, Ogun State, through the Command Provost, SP Badamosi, for investigation, orderly room retrial, and prosecution.
After it was closed, and the panel confirmed that it would make appropriate recommendations.
World Trade African Director General Okonjo Iweala has begun work under 6-month leadership of Trade Watchdog. The Foreign Affairs Minister at the helms of affairs coincides with a top decision-making body, the General Council, after a long campaign that was delayed in the late Trump administration's veto. Dr. Iweala had pledged to forget business as usual in the body, which is new deals. Arbitration forces are paralyzed. It's 154 member states as topics such as trade, rules, distribution. And we have come to the end of. Thanks for watching. Morning.